simplifying people's supply chain is a big part of what we get involved in, and it's interesting you should mention that. But there must have been one initial application you had in mind to test the technology with. Can you just tell us briefly about how you chose that application? Was there a part, or was there an R&D project that you thought you'd test it on?
I mean, being honest, there was lots of parts. Any part that you looked at that was made out of plastic,
okay,
to a degree, you felt, okay, could you print this? And then there was also parts that are perhaps made up of other parts. So, for example, a filter that we put into the machine, where you're having the plastic part made out of injection molding, and you've got metal parts being made, and then the two are being spot welded together. Could that then be done as one part? It could be as an injection molded part, but the tool would be very expensive. So that was also that's simplifying the supply chain. You're taking what is currently two parts and putting it into one.
Yeah.
But the starting point really was looking at anything that we had in plastic and saying, okay, could you then print that? Because those parts can be quite small, and at that point you're having to order thousands of them to get that price down, or to get a supplier who might be interested in producing the parts. But I wouldn't say there was one specific part. It was just a range of parts. We've had a 3D printer as a business now for 7 or 8 years. But the very first one that we had was the sort of, the RS components, sort of nylon type printer, where the stuff went everywhere and didn't really make it. So we've always embraced 3D printing, but we always accepted that first printer that we had was very much for just proof of concept.
Yeah.
It was okay. I want the part to look like this, because you can do it in drawing, but sometimes you want it as a part. So we became more serious about it once 3D printing was becoming more accessible, and the materials being used could become more production parts. I think we also took the view that we didn't want it solely for prototyping, but also for production, because prototyping is great, but it's a big investment in any new product that you're going to bring out. Whereas if you can use it for production, there are much bigger benefits. So that's when we started to look at it seriously, when 3D printers themselves and materials became more ready and suited us. But as I say, the concept of 3D printing, as I say, we've had a 3D printer for what, 7
Yeah, I was going to say, Richard, I remember fondly the first part you asked us about printing, and it was one of the filters off one of your dishwashers. And I'll just hold it up to the screen. We had some great fun with that, and the day we finished it, the first one on the print bed, we both smiled and thought, yeah, great. I was really pleased with that.